Before we begin, I want to ask you something very important. If you enjoy discovering hidden treasures, rare coins, and unbelievable stories from history that could put real money in your pocket, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now and turn on the notification bell. Because the coin we are about to talk about today might be sitting quietly in someone's drawer, an old wallet, or even a forgotten jar of change, and its story is far more fascinating than most people realize. Today, we are traveling back more than 4 decades to the year 1981, a time when the world looked very different. Governments were changing, economies were shifting, and millions of coins were being produced every day for ordinary people to use in daily life. Most of those coins passed from hand to hand, buying bread, paying bus fares, or resting quietly in a pocket. But every once in a while, a coin appears that carries a story far beyond its small size. And one such coin comes from South Africa. At first glance, the South African 20-cent coin from 1981 looks completely ordinary. Many people would barely give it a second look. It is not made of gold. It is not covered in diamonds. It doesn't look flashy or luxurious. Yet collectors around the world know something that most people do not. Sometimes the most valuable coins in the world are the ones that look the most ordinary. Imagine this for a moment, that a man cleaning out his late father's garage opens an old metal toolbox. Inside the toolbox are a few dusty screws, some faded receipts, and a small tin box filled with loose coins. Coins from different countries, different years, different memories. Most people would simply toss them aside. But hidden among them is a small South African 20-cent coin dated 1981. What if that tiny piece of metal carried a value that could completely change someone's life? This is exactly why coin collectors, especially experienced men who have spent decades studying history, economics, and rare currency, never ignore old coins. Because every coin carries clues about when it was made, how it was produced, how many were minted, and sometimes whether something unusual happened during its creation. Now let's talk about South Africa in the early 1980s. During that period, the country's mint was producing coins for daily circulation. Millions of coins were struck to meet the needs of a growing economy. The 20-cent denomination was a practical coin used regularly in shops, markets, and public transportation. Workers at the mint operated massive machines that struck metal blanks into finished coins at incredible speed. Thousands every hour, millions every year. But when machines operate at that scale, something interesting can happen. Tiny variations, minor production changes, occasional mistakes. And those small differences are exactly what collectors look for. The 1981 South African 20-cent coin carries a design that represents the nation's identity during that time. The details on the coin reflect craftsmanship, precision, and the historical moment in which it was produced. But here is where things begin to get interesting. Over time, collectors began noticing that certain examples of this coin appeared slightly different from the majority. Subtle variations in strike quality, preservation, and minting characteristics created coins that stood apart from ordinary circulation pieces. Most coins from 1981 were heavily used. They traveled through thousands of hands. They were scratched, worn, and faded after years of circulation. But occasionally, a coin survives in extraordinary condition. When collectors talk about condition, they are talking about something extremely important in the world of numismatics. Not a coin that looks like it just left the mint. Sharp edges, clear details, and heavy wear. Brilliant surfaces. Coins in that condition become extremely desirable because they are rare survivors of time itself. Think about how many coins are produced every year. Then think about how many survive decades without damage. Very few. That is why experienced collectors carefully inspect every coin they encounter. They use magnifying lenses, professional lighting, and years of knowledge to determine whether a coin might be special. Now imagine someone in their 50s or 60s who has been collecting coins since childhood. He has seen thousands of coins that he knows the weight, the texture, the sound of metal. One day, he picks up a 1981 South African 20-cent coin that looks unusually well preserved. That he studies it carefully. The details are crisp. The surface is shine. It looks almost untouched by time. At that moment, a serious collector begins asking questions. Where did this coin come from? How did it survive in such condition? And more importantly, how rare could it be? Coins like this often begin appearing in auctions, private collections, and specialized coin shows where collectors gather to exchange pieces of history. And when two serious collectors want the same coin, the bidding can become intense. But condition is only part of the story. Historical context also plays a powerful role in determining a coin's importance. The early 1980s were a complicated time for South Africa. Political tension, economic changes, and international attention surrounded the country. Coins from that era became silent witnesses to a significant period in history. Every coin minted in 1981 passed through a society experiencing transformation. That historical weight adds another layer of fascination for collectors, because when they hold a coin like this, they are not just holding metal, they are holding a moment in time. And collectors, especially older collectors who appreciate history, value that connection deeply. Now imagine a coin dealer examining a small collection brought in by a retired traveler. The traveler spent decades visiting different countries. Over the years, he saved coins from places he visited, not thinking they might ever be valuable. Inside a small envelope labeled Africa, the dealer notices a familiar design that a 1981 South African 20-cent coin. At first, it looks ordinary, but something about the strike catches his attention that he flips the coin under a light. The surfaces glow slightly. The details appear stronger than usual. His curiosity grows as he places the coin under magnification. Every line becomes clearer, and suddenly he realizes, this coin may be something very special. This is the moment collectors live for. The discovery, the possibility, the thrill of realizing that a small, overlooked object might carry enormous value. And stories like this are exactly why millions of people around the world continue searching through old coins, jars of spare change, inherited collections, garage sale finds, estate boxes, because sometimes, hidden among ordinary coins, extraordinary ones are waiting to be discovered. Now here is something even more fascinating. Many rare coins were never meant to be rare. They became rare simply because most of them disappeared through circulation, damage, or melting over time, which means the few survivors become extremely desirable. The 1981 South African 20-cent coin falls into that category when it appears in exceptional condition or with unique characteristics that collectors admire. And when a coin combines history, rarity, and preservation, its value can rise dramatically in the collector market. But the real surprise about this coin is something very few people expect. Because in certain situations, when the right example appears in the right condition and attracts the attention of serious collectors, the price can become astonishing. And when the final number is revealed, many people can hardly believe that such a small coin could carry such a powerful value. Before we reveal the number that shocked collectors, take a moment to think about your own coins. Maybe you have an old jar filled with change. Maybe you inherited coins from parents or grandparents. Maybe there is a forgotten coin sitting somewhere in your home right now. Because the next incredible discovery might not happen in a museum. It might happen in an ordinary house, with an ordinary person, who simply decided to take a closer look. And what collectors eventually realized about the right example of the 1981 South African 20-cent coin left many people stunned. Under the right circumstances, with the right rarity and condition, this small coin has been valued at an incredible $149,000 $149,000 for a single 20-cent coin, a coin most people would walk past without a second thought, which proves something very powerful about the world of coin collecting. Treasure does not always look like treasure. Sometimes it looks like loose change. The next time you see an old coin, don't ignore it, examine it, research it, because hidden among ordinary coins, history and fortune might be waiting quietly to be discovered. And if you want to keep discovering coins like this, coins that could be hiding life-changing value, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay with us for the next incredible story from the world of rare coins.